Hello, welcome to the Daily Live. We a little bit late, just having a heated discussion. If you a warm heated. Listen, I've just been road raged on the way in. Someone driving 17 miles an hour. There was nowhere for me to get past.
You're just going to have to understand that we are signing Antonio, and you're just going to have to live with it. That's just life.
Why would we sell Demarai Gray to sign Antonio though? When one's a centre forward and not amazing,
I don't know,
and the other one's a winger.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I think it's really funny.
I don't get it. But there you go. Demarai Gray. More stuff last night about him. More stuff today about him. Where are we standing on it? See, I'll give you my thing and then you take it away, right? There is a slight worry from me that he's someone who has got a bit of pace about him. He does score now and again. I mean, he's got 12 goals in the last 2 seasons. For a team that doesn't score, that's like more worry going out my head than another player going up the door. I don't know whether I'm totally comfortable. If you said to me, they'll get rid of him now and bring in Jack Harrison, then I'm all right with it. I go sound, because he'll get more probably goals than what Gray does, and he works harder. The other thing with Antonio links and things like that, he's injury prone as well. He's 33. He is. So I'm just a little bit, I'm looking and going, I just don't know. With it being so close to the season as well.
Yeah, but
I know that can't be a reason.
What I would say is, though, it does seem like,
but he's
been going all summer, isn't it?
Yeah,
so, and it is a case of he went and played in the Gold Cup in the States. Yeah, I mean, they have to make a decision, don't they? And if he brings in the kind of cash that allows us to go and bring in 2 players, then probably going to have to do it, aren't we?
Yeah.
And if he's not in the manager's plans,
I get it.
He's got a year left, and then he's out of contract. And I know we could extend it, but why would we extend the contract for someone we don't actually want? So it makes sense to get rid of him this summer. Yeah. And logistically, you've got to look at it like that, because he is out of contract next summer, even though we can extend it. But if we don't want him, then what's the point? So get the money for him.
You know what I mean? It's like another. If we get, we will. I'm just throwing it out there, going just right now. But if the manager will make the decision, won't he, ultimately? And if the man, like you say, the manager, it appears, we don't know all the thing, but it appears for what we saw when Sean Dyche came in and all of that. And there's a lot of noise, like you said, about him going this summer. It would appear that the manager's comfortable with him leaving, as long as some kind of replacement comes in.
Yeah, because he's not going to start games, is he? He's not going to start games. I don't think he might start. He could possibly start because, Dwight McNeil is out, which it looks like he's going to be out. So he probably could, but then you've got to look at the other players, haven't you? You've got Dan Juma, you've got Ashley Young, who could fill the side, couldn't he, for now? You've got, Don played 45 minutes yesterday. I know that's not anything to bank on, but the manager if the manager doesn't like him, then he doesn't like him. If he doesn't do what he wants him to do, we can get money for it. But I do think you've got to go back to the point of being, he is only got 1 year left, and if you can get cash for him, we're sitting here in 12 months and we haven't sold him, and he's about to walk out the door for nothing because we don't actually want to extend his contract, or we're only extending his contract for the very sake of, so you're holding on for a player for another year, and then you lose him after that year, don't you? So I've got no issue with them getting rid of him. I really don't.
It's just the replacement for me. Well,
they have said they're not going to let him go unless they get a replacement. So that's one thing.
I mean, Jack Harrison, he's someone. I think Everton have still got and I've had an interest in him. Still got an interest in him. 26, good age, works hard. Fine, and
he'll work hard, and he'll score goals, and he'll get assists, and he'll do exactly what Gray does, maybe a little bit less spectacular at some times, but he'll do exactly what he does, and
he'll be more
consistent, and he'll work for the team. Demarai Gray wants to do everything his own way, I think, when we play, and that doesn't suit what the manager wants. So
no.
So we just play a trade, innit? You just do it and you move on.
Yeah. Ross asked the most important question, I think, of the day.
I mean, you say that.
Okay, then you tell me it's different.
Go on then.
Hi lads, any updates on how we're progressing with the signing of Baraka from Minnesota?
No, but that is actually a very big question. There's a question mark.
Tell me if there's a better question.
There's a question mark over that deal, I believe. There is a question mark. It's evaporated.
Yeah, I was going to say, has the deal evaporated?
Completely
Just
dissolved.
Completely dissolved.
Deal's dissolved, but
yeah.
But tremendous.
Paul Catzel said he failed his medical due to fatigue and tiredness. Fair play. Tremendous. From yesterday, of course, if you were watching the live, you would have known the Baraka, Minnesota thing. Paul Catzel says, afternoon lads, I'm quite happily let Gray go, as long as there's a plan and cover for him. Gray's loads of quality, no consistency, and strolls around the pitch most games like he can't be asked. Fair play. And Jake Ablett simply says, sold at the highest bidder.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll see. We with 10 days to go. We're hoping, Everton are hoping to step it up, aren't they? Chimiti, there was the medical booked for this week, and still is. There was a little bit of confusion last night, again, other little bit saying he hadn't agreed personal terms, but the Daily Record have gone out today and said...
I don't think it's called the Daily Record.
The Record. It's
Daily Record's the one in Scotland.
I know, but it's today's version of it in Portugal. The Record.
Daily Record.
In Portugal today has said that Everton have smooched him with the second offer and he's agreed terms.
Oh, yeah. Bag, money, lad.
There you go. And that's it. Well, that's the smooching, isn't it? And now he's here, apparently, for his medical in the next, whatever, tomorrow, apparently, but we'll see. You know, you want to... but we need more, don't we? Excuse me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course we do. We need
more.
We will need more, so...
Out of these suspects in the lineup, Che Adams, Mikel Antonio, Kelechi Iheanacho.
Why would Antonio leave West Ham for us if he's not going to play games of footy?
For us?
Yeah.
And he's not going to play for West Ham, I believe. West Ham, yeah. Don't know.
I don't know. It's a hard one, that. They're all very much of a muchness. Che Adams, I think, has still got the right attributes, but he's physically obviously different from Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Quite strong, no.
No, but it's not like you can throw a cross into the box to him, is it? Which is what we found with Mopai. So,
tell you what, a lot of his goals are header goals, you know.
No, he's decent. He's a decent player. He's a decent player. He's not obviously he's not top level, but we're not going to get top level, are they? So,
if Everton ended the summer with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Che Adams, and Yusuf Chimiti as the three strikers, and Mopai went up the door because he would. He's not going to be number 4, is he? Would you be all right with that? I think that would make us stronger than it was last season. Because we won, well, it would, because we basically only had one striker all season anyway. And he didn't really fit, did he?
As long as we've got at least one like for like striker, and then you've got like a couple of wide forwards in, then
because obviously Dan Zuma can play through them. That's not perfect. See, I think if it was given the choice out of those three I've just named, I think Iheanacho would be probably the one just for his fit. I think he's a better finisher than the other. Well, he is better than finishing the other two. He's not as physical as the other two, but then he can take the ball. He's more skillful than the other two players. So I wonder if that would give us a nice mix between the. Obviously, if Chimiti does come in, he's raw. We know that, and he's young, but he's 6'4", so he's a good size. Dom's obviously powerful. I think possibly that's who I would, if I had to handpick one of those three. In an ideal world, we did a video on Premier, didn't we? I know Ned put a thing out about Che Adams, who, again, €5 million. For me, Everton should buy, that should be the one to take. Yeah. But there's other ones out there. We went through quite a few. There are strikers out there. And there's players who, people like Gift Orban, who would be a tremendous signing for Everton. You'd have to pay 20 million for him. But, 41 goals in 48 games for Ghent. It's been superb. The likes of them, they're high ceiling, but are really exciting now. I don't know whether Everton are going to do that kind of deal. So, therefore, someone like Iheanacho or he would make more sense, but I think it wouldn't surprise me if it's Che Adams, to be honest.
Especially Southampton they're not messing about though, are they? It's not like they're sitting there taking all the offers.
Well, what did you make it? What did you make it the loan deal for Sulemana then?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, someone else who rejected us. Why not?
They offered more money
for a loan. It makes sense, wouldn't it?
Makes sense for them as well, I guess, because they can concentrate on getting promoted again. And if they do, he's back in their squad as a Premier League player, isn't he? For Everton, a loan, it's, you know, it's relatively low risk, I guess, if you want to, because you're not, the outlay is obviously on the loan and stuff, but it's not an outlay on a player that wages are going to be massively high for. I think there's a few in. So we did say yesterday that when we come towards the end of the window, there'll be a lot of opportunity.
There's loads on.
It's like Breuer, isn't it? Breuer's there. If Everton couldn't do the deal with one of the three we've just said, Armando Breuer. You know, I know he's coming back from an injury, but physically, big lad, quick, can travel with the ball. Not a massive goal scorer, but he's a big unit. He's a physical presence, which is what Sean Dyche tends to like. Top end of the pitch. He could be someone they go and look for towards the end. But I just
There'll be
feel
a couple of deals like that, I imagine, for us. So yeah, I've just seen there as well. Atalanta are trying to get Schumacher from West Ham, 25 million. Yeah. So
the Hoyland get 2 new strikers for Hoyland.
So again, like you were saying, why would Antonio leave West Ham for us if he's going to get opportunities? I know he nearly went to Saudi, but he fell through, didn't he? So
Freitas Medical, didn't he? Apparently, I mean, I don't know, but that's what it says. Yeah, which means when you think of it like that, what are West Ham doing then? If they're losing 2 strikers. I know Moyes hates strikers, doesn't he? He loved just having one, didn't he, really? I wonder who they go target then.
Breuer.
Stay in London and all that, yeah. Interesting. Fair play. All right. Actually, you've answered. Fair play. AC says, people watching, hit the like button or you're a copite. I mean, there might be copites watching, so fair play. And Greg says, smash the like button. Thank you very much, people. Right, what have we here? Some of these. Lots of people saying sell Gray as long as we replace him. Where are we there? Simon says, ideally, we need to add numbers into the squad to replace what's already left. There is this thing. I was talking to someone yesterday, and last night, and they were like, how many do you think then? And I was like, well, I've been consistent all summer. I think it'll be 6 by the time the window shuts. When you actually think of all the players that have left as well, so how many have gone so far? So we've lost me and Cody, Davies, and Kunku wasn't here, so we can't really include him. Then 3 have gone. Ellis Sims has gone. So there's 4 that were in the squad. We're talking about, I know Gomez wasn't here, but I'm just talking about name, but like Andre Gomez is going to go, isn't he? Holgate. So.
Yeah.
Tom Cannon's joining Preston today, I think, isn't he, on loan?
Yeah.
You know, there's 7. If you want to throw, if you wanted to throw like Nkunku in, there's 8 who've left the squad. I'm sure there was another. Andros Townsend, 9. Asmir Begovic, 10. So people who were registered in the squad, you know, talking John Philip Obama if you really wanted. So you're talking 11 at least who were registered in our squad who had gone out the door. You know, Lewis Warrington's gone on loan, hasn't he?
Price.
You know, Isaac Price is left, who was in the squad last season. Stanley Mills, who knocked around, has gone out. You know, you're talking 12, 13, 14 players that have gone. So 6 isn't actually... 6 isn't beyond the realms of, you know, and then I'm still saying Demarai Gray and Neil Maupay in that as well. So that's like, you're talking 16 players.
Benagri.
I knew there was more. You just keep throwing them out, Benagri as well.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? I don't think it's.
Hang on, are we gonna have? Is it gonna be 3 goalies on the bench next season?
I know.
Oh
I
dear.
said that the other day. I said that's got to be one of the most embarrassing stats as a football club that has to have 2 goalies on the bench.
You know when we played Bournemouth, we didn't have 9 subs, did we?
No.
We had 8 subs and 2 keepers, didn't
That's
we?
embarrassing. It's embarrassing that's where we are, but that is where we are. Yeah, that is where we are. So, I mean, you can add Dobb, and I imagine maybe he'll be in and around, depending on what happens. He'll be this year's Sims, wouldn't he? So,
I believe
one of them is.
I believe from a good source, 2 good sources yesterday, that Lewis Dobbin was fantastic yesterday, the best player on the pitch.
Unbelievable.
So listen, I think Mons are just slightly behind Everton, so it could have been in the training and so whatever, but I believe he was very, very good. Scored a good individual goal and had an assist. So
well, if he's got confidence from
the manager seems to.
That's really good, isn't
like
it? The manager likes him. And he's putting his faith in him and he's pushing him in the right way, using his pace in the right way, and then that's brilliant. But
we said yesterday, didn't we? The thing about when you're having that bench this season, we've got to have a position where you're looking at the bench going, what about throwing him on? Because we need the. Where last season, too many times, it was like, remember, you can even go back to like Leeds away. Remember, like Lampard was like looking at the benches, and like say whatever you want about Frank Lampard, but that night at Leeds, you could see us, we were getting tired, and it was only really when we had another kick on the last 10 minutes and we should have won it. We missed chances, but you could see he was looking at the bench going, I haven't really got nothing. So everyone was like a defender, or it was like, how am I changing it? Whereas you could imagine if Everton had in an ideal world, say it's like Dom's on the bench and Chimiti are on the bench, and you've got Dobbin and maybe another wide. You're looking and going, we've got 4 attackers there. That can change this a little bit. Where last season, 2 goalies, 4, 5 defenders, and you're like, what's he got here really to make? With 5 subs as well, you've got to have every other team. Like Wolves, I always think back to the Wolves game at home, which was like so easy and so comfortable, and they put 5 subs on, and it
changed it, didn't it?
It changed it, give them, even though they weren't like massively better, them fresh legs and attacking ideas turned it, didn't it? And there's been other examples of that where teams, you're looking and going, hang on, what, he's coming on and he's coming on, and sometimes it worked. Brentford at home, we rode it out, but they still took over for the last 25 minutes. You look at Man City, and I know it's a different world, but the 5 they put on, you're like, Jesus Christ, love to have them in our day.
Yeah, but you watch a lot of teams and they make subs and
the dangerous.
It just freshens them up and it gives you something else to think about. You've been planning for this and something happens. There's not a lot of that at Everton, is there? So we could do with a few more options. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I do think it's going to be hectic. It would just be nice to get your major targets in before the season starts, take that pressure off. Go into the season with most of what you need, and then just add to it. Just add the numbers. Just bulk it out a little bit.
Jacob says we're linked with Harry Maguire again, although he is probably better than Keane and Holgate. Listen, anyone who watches this knows I'm not a massive lover of Harry Maguire. Not that I don't think he's a decent defender. I just thought people went overboard with him. And it's not his fault. United paid 80-odd million for him. But let's have it right. He is instantly an upgrade on Michael Keane, Mason Holgate. He just is. He is. And he's in a position at Manchester United where, because he has made mistakes, everything he does now is scrutinised to the nth degree. Yeah. Every time he does something, they hone in on him as if I always go back to the European game when the fella headed it against his head and it went in the other corner, and it was like Maguire again, and you're like, mate, he was 6 inches away from the lad. It hit him on the head and flew into the other. It's not his fault. I know he didn't have a great game that night anyway, but to go back to that, there's all of that kind of thing, isn't it? I think it's gone too far with it. Personally, I'm not a Manchester United fan. I'm not a Harry Maguire lover, but I do think sometimes the criticism and what's on social media and everything has been too much for him. I think he's a decent defender. I think if you come into Everton, I think people would like him and go, you know what, he is good. Because the pressure would be different, wouldn't it? Can he play for a team that's trying to win a Premier League? Well, you know, he done very well at Leicester, didn't he?
He done well when he first came into United.
No, he did. He was the Manchester United captain. He was all right. It's just he's lost his way a little bit, like players do. But I do not see that happening.
No,
I really don't. The money's on, and what Manchester United want, they don't want to loan him. Everton won't. For me, Everton would not be in that market at all. And again, the centre back again. Just a conversation I had with someone last night. Was like, don't know how comfortable I am with Branthwaite and Tarkowski. I'm like, really? Okay, well, what are you looking for then? Well, a starting centre back. I was like, no, that's not for me. I don't want another centre back to come in like. So Harry Maguire comes in, then what's Jared doing? Yeah, he's just sitting back on a bench. But then we may as well sell him because people want him. Manchester United, ironically, won him. So maybe, part exchange, money and Branthwaite for Maguire. How many people will bite their hand off for that? I don't think there's that many. I think the other way they may do. We should be preparing for Branthwaite and Tarkowski, and then the one behind that maybe should be someone who's good enough to get in alongside either of those. Is it Michael Keane?
I think we said the other day, didn't we? Like, when the manager makes a call like he did after Leicester last season, you have to look at that and think, absolutely, that's for Michael Keane, that's got to signal, or should be the signal for the manager that's him done as a starting centre-back at Everton. And he either has to push Branthwaite into the team or find someone else. Well, Branthwaite is exactly what we talk about all the time. A player that you go and find that is young, you buy them for buttons, you maybe dip the toe in or you send them on loan. Well, he's done both. And then you push them in the first team and they'll still make mistakes, but they have experience around them, because he will. And you go on from there. You know, I know, listen, if Patterson starts the season, I imagine will, he's got that a bit more experience now. You know, if Michalenko or Ashley Young start at left back, they've got experience between them. And then you've got Taki in front next to him, and then you've got Pickford behind them. So there's loads. You've got
Garner in front of them.
Yeah, so you've got loads of experience around them who can, help him and talk him through games and stuff like that. But that's not the path that we've been calling for. I mean, you have to give them an opportunity at some point, don't you? You have to drop them in. When is the perfect time? Well, there's never a perfect time, is there? There's never a perfect time for when you buy players like Patterson or when you buy players like James Garner, who'd never even played in the Premier League before. Let's remember. Played for Manchester United, been part of Manchester United, gone to Forest, but he'd never played in the Premier League. And yet we dropped them in, and later on the season, you could see the shoots there of a player. So you've got to give them an opportunity. What's Branthwaite going to do this season if he's not starting? Just sit on the bench? Centre-backs don't get an opportunity. What will be his opportunity? Well, when someone gets injured, well, what are we going to do then? We're going to play him. So why not just give him the opportunity from the start? He's better than Keane, and there's still massive question marks about Ben Godfrey. His positioning's horrific, and he's not good in the air. Yes, he's got pace, but it's recovery pace. We don't want recovery pace as such. So for me, I'd start him. And it's of course it's risky, but at this stage, well, you might as well sell him if you're not going to play him.
Huge call. Ned, just put John's mic up a sec. John, if Mike, you were at Leicester that night, Michael Keane didn't have a great night. The manager took him out. There was a lot of Evertonians wanted him out the side at that stage because he was struggling. Me and Ped have had our say on this, but would you find it strange that Sean Dyche took Keane out, we brought Mina in, we stayed up, and then all of a sudden Michael Keane's our starting centre-back again for the new season?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, when we have our little cliches of plan the dive the plan, that's fundamentally about when there's no pressure on you, you make a decision.
Yeah.
Keane's history.
Yeah.
When pressure comes, like, I'm not sure about whether Branthwaite's ready or not, I'll put Keane in.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. You've got to hold on, and this is why when we talk on the business stuff around the natural tension between the director of football and the manager, you have to you two have just sort of had the debate. So well should and could be saying, if you're not going to play him, let's sell him.
Yeah.
And see what the fan base think of that lad. You know, sort of thing. So there isn't a world I'm comfortable with that has Michael Keane and Tarkowski being our starting centre-backs.
Yeah.
Tark's fine, right?
Yeah.
I just don't get anyone anywhere who thinks with Branthwaite in the squad, we're going to start with Michael Keane.
Yeah.
Because we know for a fact he's an accident waiting to happen.
Well, Branthwaite played half a game at Stoke, wasn't it? Half a game on Saturday. I think he played 90 minutes yesterday. I expect him to play at least, well, he will. He'll play at least 45 on Saturday, Goodison against Sporting. I want him to start with Tarkowski at the weekend. I don't want Keane starting, because Keane started every game so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, the key, I mean, what's key for me for the Lisbon game is that traditionally it should be as close as to his preferred starting 11 as he can get to.
Yeah.
We hear the squad, I'm telling you, and everyone watching this will have the same view. If you hear the team on Saturday at 2 o'clock or whenever it comes out, you know, and the back four's got Tarkowski and Keane, we're all going to go bleep, bleep, expletive. The manager can play tunes round that by saying Branthwaite's not fit yet or whatever. But to my mind, Branthwaite has to be the starter.
Yeah.
Because if nothing else, it wakes everybody up within the squad that says the manager isn't that falls back on experience type creature.
Yeah.
The same with the story. It is embarrassing if Everton don't have the numbers to put on a bench.
Yeah.
But I don't think the embarrassment per se comes from not having the numbers. It's from filling the slots with goalkeepers.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to attract young players into this club, whether you're paying 30 million euros for them or just whatever, and the manager's sending out big signals which says, I don't actually go with youth if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
I really don't. And you can populate that squad with as many talents with pace like a Dobbin or whatever, but if the manager ain't going to go past the one or two maximum that changes he makes anyway, then you could have 5 goalies on the bench, because none of them are getting a game.
Just on the Keane thing as well, I think a lot of people are looking at the pre-season thinking that that's why Keane's going to start. We haven't had any other place. But Godfrey played left back at Wigan. Then he came
against Niall.
Yeah, he played. Come on second. Did he come on second half, or did he start against Bolton? But
came on at half time.
Yeah, because of all the subs. We haven't got any. Branthwaite wasn't available till Saturday when he played half, and then he played 90 minutes yesterday. So I think people have got it into their heads because Keane started pre-season games. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
Holgate's done.
He's done,
Holgate's done. Everton, he doesn't want him anywhere near.
Doesn't have a locker anymore.
Listen, I got told something very similar to that, John, and I told it weeks ago. Holgate is done. They want him out the club.
And he wants to be out, doesn't he?
They just can't get anyone to take his wages. So that's the reason why Keane's been starting games. Now is the crunch point, like John said. Now is the crossover. Branthwaite playing 90 minutes yesterday. The manager having a really good look. If he impresses him, then he mightn't start the first game of the season. The manager might look at it, and especially if there's anything with Mitrovic. But even Fulham, I look at like if they play Jimenez, they might go, I'll put Keane in for this.
And can I just give you the caveat to that? Everton 1, Fulham 3, middle of April. Everton's centre-backs, Michael Keane and James Tarkowski.
Yeah.
Keane, responsible for 2 of the 3 goals. Lit. Woeful. And he didn't even have Mitrovic.
That might be the reason why he beat us 3-1. No, because Keane is actually not bad. He's not a bad player to have against like other big players. It's when the ball's on the floor and it's more technical. That's where Keane.
I think it's, to me,
His problem is where he is on the pitch.
Yeah. If you look at them goals that day, he just he's too slow, and then the one that's pulled down, he didn't have a clue where he was. I personally, I've
never liked them. You know that.
Actually, it was Baz who said it. You've just said the right thing a few minutes ago around why a player needs to move, because whatever happens, it's his fault. You were talking about Harry Maguire. The same applies to Michael Keane.
Yeah.
When he goes on that field, he attracts mistakes, errors, bad luck.
Yeah,
he's had the whole gambit of
and people
stuff.
Look for it then, don't they? Whatever goal you let in, you go, where was he?
And human beings are involved, and if a fan base he's picked him again, there will be players in that squad, maybe even in the 11, who think the same thing.
They're
not going to come out and say it, you know. Godfrey's an interesting one, Ped, because Godfrey's never particularly had great positional sense, you know, so he's not going to get it now, but he's always covered for it with decent pace. And the club should know, I guess, through the sports scientists and the like, whether that pace is actually still there, and therefore what we're seeing in performances is basically mental because of injury and then and so on. If his pace has dropped off a smidgen, they need to move him out. If it's still what it was, he's still a decent squad player, I think, because of his, his ability to play in different roles.
His positional thing comes from the fact he's a midfield player.
Absolutely.
Who they put at centre back.
But he's not a good enough midfielder.
No, what I'm saying is, we've all been there, haven't we, at any level of football? And I was a forward, right? And they asked me to play midfield, I didn't have a clue. I could get the ball, I could beat a man, pass, I can do all that. Running back with runners, and I have a clue. Couldn't tackle to save my life. Therefore, no clue whatsoever. It's why defenders can't go up front. Very rarely
can go up front.
Very rarely the defenders go up front and perform like a striker. It's like why Demarai, who's a forward player, done all right up front, but if you look at his hold-up play, he's not great. He's not running in behind. He's not. You know what I mean? Everyone's specialised. If you've got a lad in midfield who's used to clattering people like he does, and he likes that tackle, and he'll follow you and all that, that's fine. But if he makes a positional error, he's got two lads behind him to get him out of trouble. When he makes that positional error as a centre-back, it's a goal, isn't it?
Godfrey's a victim now of his own
he is of
ability
the versatility,
to be versatile. Yeah. You can move him around easier because of that pace. You out of trouble at right back, out left back. He's never settled into centre-back. No. Maybe he'd come in and they'd gone, like we talking about Brantwaite,
you're our
centre-back. But clearly, I think they saw quite quickly that he's there's a lot of work.
He's not small, is he?
But
he can't jump.
I know, but you're actually covering stuff here, which is where the eyes have it, so to speak, and the stats don't. You've got to be able to watch it. If you look at someone like Iwobi, for example, who will always have great stats, you know, so the stato people will love him to death, and then the people who watch with their eyes will have a potentially different view. He's another one who has no awareness in midfield around defensive actions. So he only needs a split second of lack of awareness, and he's gone. He'll then do the sprint and the run. Stats look great, but you never got there.
He's got there.
You never got there.
No.
So I think Ben would be okay if his pace is perceived, statistically, when they check it, to be just as good as it was before his injury.
I'd say the other thing about Godfrey as well, though, is you
need our-asses in your team
as well. The COVID stuff as well, though. Yeah. There's talk that he got long COVID, isn't it, and stuff. Yeah. And who knows how that affects you as an athlete. I mean, it affects normal people, but as an athlete where you need that little bit of extra, and someone who relies on that pace, and that we forget.
And he has had bad injuries, broken leg.
Yeah, you forget stuff like that. The broken leg, a broken leg in real time can take. You can come back, but it can take a long time to get over it. By the way, if someone offers you to watch a video of a Brazilian clip from last night, say no. Yeah. Say no, especially if you've just eaten your dinner.
Ped, I saw your thing, right?
Yeah, and you went looking for it, didn't you, John?
No, I didn't. And then maybe half an hour later, it was on Twitter, and there's someone had put it in a tweet, so you couldn't not see it.
Sure, I didn't. You said don't watch it, so I swerved
you had to watch it, didn't you, then?
I didn't, I swerved it. And like John, I went on Twitter, and the video was just there.
Do you know what it is? Know what the injury is? A full knee dislocation, apparently.
Not great.
It wasn't a break.
Wasn't it a break? No.
It wasn't a break. It was like when you got an action, man.
Yeah, no, it was an action. The leg went back. Oh, my God.
Horrible.
Oh, my God. It's making me feel sick.
Do you reckon it is? No, he just went in the changing room.
No, he was fine. He just put it back in and he carried on. Oh, my God. Steve Thomas says, how did Diallo do for Man U in the pre-season friendlies? I would have took him on loan, but he got injured, didn't he? He come home in a boot, so I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Yeah, I mean, Jake says, what positions do you think we have left to fill? I think wingers and a striker, obviously. But then I feel we'd lack, this is what you were talking about yesterday, real quality and creativity from midfield. Never really replace Gylfi or Hammers.
We do, don't we? We lack that player. I mean, maybe... I don't know. John's just mentioned it there, Iwobi. He's like the biggest enigma in the world, isn't he? He's like, all the stats say he's amazing, and then you watch him and you just go, what do you actually do? And it's not the fact that he isn't creative, it's just that every ball he plays is either a yard too long or a yard too short. And it's like, after 4 years, you think he'd know most of his teammates and where they are on the pitch and how they run and stuff like that frustrates me. Knowing if the fella overlapping you, where to put the ball so that it's perfect, it's stuff like that frustrates me. Maybe, listen, he started last season really well, didn't he, in the centre of the park? So
I think that's where he's better suited.
Then where would he get in now? In the
no, what I'm just saying, if you're looking at Alex Iwobi, and we talked, haven't we? Eyes versus the stats. Stats will tell you he's our most creative player. Creates chances. I've always had an issue with the goals from him because I think for a lad he has got ability. People can call him crap all they want. The lad has got lots of ability, but his goals are a disgrace really for such an attacking talent. Yeah, his shooting. We saw Manchester United, that one he put in the top corner. It's like, why ain't you doing that 8 times a game then? Well, 8 excessive, but why aren't you doing that 2 or 3 times a game, getting shots away? Great finish at Leicester when we were under pressure. Well, how are you missing easy
I honestly believe, especially the people who talk about his stats loads, let him off so much on the goal scorer and go, that's no reason no, he is. Because players in other teams in his position do score 8 to 10 goals a season easily.
Well, Demarai is nowhere near the talent of Alex Iwobi, is he?
No.
And yet Abdoulaye Demarai got 5 in the second half of the season because he got himself in the right areas and finished when he had to.
He's like, and people might disagree with me here, but he's like our version of I know he doesn't quite play in the position, but of a Bruno Fernandes or a James Maddison. He's our version. They score 8 to 10 goals a season, and if his stats are so amazing, why isn't he getting?
He should be getting 5, shouldn't he? Well, he should be getting more, but I'm talking.
Our centre back should get 5.
No, but I'm dropping it down because it's Everton.
I don't think we should drop it down, though. I really don't. Because he's a creative player that has got the ability to make things happen himself, and he doesn't tend to go.
If worse players than him get more goals, then why aren't you scoring the goals? That's my.
John's going to tell us now.
Because you called Maddison out, and I think that's a bit unfair because Maddison's pretty damn good, right? But Maddison played 25% less games than Alex last season.
Yeah.
Appearances.
Yeah.
How many minutes it was. Scored 5 times as many goals.
5 times. Yeah.
So 10 versus 2.
Yeah.
But
and there you go.
The Blues has put he's an 8, not a 10. There's no difference nowadays. There's no difference between an 8 and a 10 because there's no real 10s in the game anymore. No one plays with a 10. If you're a 10, you're an 8. Don't make excuses for this fella. Honestly, he's a good all-round player. I appreciate that. But don't make excuses for the amount of times he shoots in games. Never mind the amount of times he scores in. For me, at his age, he should be picking the ball up and owning the pitch and saying, I'm going to open this game up for you. I'm going to set the example. I'm going to take that chance. Seen him last week at Bolton, they had 2 dead easy chances to score and fluffed both of them. And that's what's the annoying thing about him, is that he's supposed to be this tremendous player, well then show it on the pitch. Show us what you're capable of. If and he flatters to deceive far too often. So he's a good player, and maybe he's playing in the wrong position, but lift yourself above it. Loads of players have done that. Loads of players at Everton have done that. They've gone, I better do something about this. And that's the one thing that annoys me about Iwobi, is that with all that talent, he doesn't take the responsibility and say, I'm gonna change this game. I'm gonna never grab the game by the scruff of the neck, really. He's never done that. So it's something that
I look and just think, when you're playing in a team and you're a creative player, why would you not think it's your responsibility to score goals?
Yeah.
I've never got it. People can try to be clever about positions, but positions don't mean a thing. You're a creative player on that pitch, and you're a forward player. If you're not a forward player, you're a defender. And your defender's there to take the joy out of a game, isn't it? You're there to stop everything out and you break things down. There's no creativity involved in being a defender.
You need to have a word with Sean.
What? But if you're an
The same
attacking
conversation you had with Frank, tell him to shoot more.
yeah, but that's it, isn't it? So if you're an attacking player, why would you go on and go, oh, I'm an 8, I can't score goals? Yeah. That doesn't make sense.
just think-
Steven Gerrard scored.
Compare him to someone like Maddison, who played 3/4 of the games. Maddison had twice as many shots.
It's not rocket science, is it? That's rocket science.
That's the stuff for me. It's
Yeah.
not the goals, it's the shots. It's taking responsibility and saying, I'm not going to play that extra pass. I'm just going to have a go and see what happens. And you know what? If you shoot more, you'll score more. It's that simple.
Or the keeper parries it and you get a
baby stato. This is just the fantasy,
Yeah.
beg pardon, the Premier
the
League,
Premier League comparison thing,
website thing. Is shot accuracy a couple of percentage difference with Maddison? In other words, if he shot more, he would score more.
Of course he would. Or keepers are parry it and we get tap-ins.
Yeah.
It's the thing about we do this and go, oh, well, he's this and
And
he's
by the way,
that.
that's the difference between him and McNeil. McNeil will shoot.
Yeah.
That's the difference because he believes that he will score because he's got a good left foot, and that's the difference.
Just get the shots away. Get the shots away. Because Alex Iwobi can be, if you put him in a midfield with Onana and Garner, Idrissa, then you've got legs everywhere because Iwobi does run all over the place. You can't accuse him of that. He does run everywhere. But
Neil's a good example because we perhaps all think he should shoot more as well.
he did, didn't he? Second half of the season, he started having, Brentford at home was 40 odd seconds out of his foot, bang, 1-0, wins the game, that's it, job done.
Yeah.
Brighton away, Leathers it, get the shots away. Fulham at home, the equaliser, got into a central area, pull the trigger.
You can make things happen. I think it was at Arsenal. When we were away at Arsenal, there was a couple of chances where he forced their goalie to make saves, and things nearly fall for the players. You get tap-ins, just stuff like that. So
when you watch and you watch like teams like even Liverpool, and you shot and it hits someone and flies in the other corner, you go, you jammy, but they're shooting. And that's what happens when you shoot.
McNeil scored from a corner.
Exactly. But yeah. Where are we? Gavin says Dobbin will start before Iwobi.
He won't.
He won't, will he?
He won't.
Let's be honest. But yeah, I just think it's all about all of them taking that responsibility. The core, Onana should score more goals, and I'd say he's more of a defensive midfielder. He's massive. If you're getting in the penalty area, you're a Premier League footballer. You should be able to kick a ball at that target, which is quite good. Shouldn't you? Whether you're a right back, a left back. Patterson, let's be honest, Nathan Patterson should have had 3 goals last season. Leeds away, he should have won us the game. He was in on goal and he hit it straight at the keeper. Liverpool at home, the 0-0, he had the cross shot which deflected into the side netting. He should have done better. And he's had other options. Our fullbacks need to score, don't they? James Coleman had a season where I'm sure he got 9 goals or 8 goals in one season or whatever.
All the time.
You've got to at the back post with Baines. These players, for us, have got to start weighing in. The only way they're going to weigh in is by pulling the trigger, isn't it? If you're always looking, so there was one last week with Iwobi at Bolton, and ironically he shot when he shouldn't have done, but he got himself into the right. It was that one which was a brilliant move. It started in our corner flag and all that, and he should have actually rolled it square. I don't know whether it was McNeil or someone was there for a shot at goal, and he had a goal. But you know what? It was like, well, at least he pulled the trigger. Do that all the time. Get it out your feet. But I just look at him when he plays on the right, and I just think, does he give us enough in that right wing area? He's not, because I was watching the Stoke game at the weekend, and he's a player, Alex Iwobi, that slows it down. So when we break, he gets it, and instead of it breaking a pace, he slows the game down. And I'm saying that's a terrible thing, but when you're a wide player, if you look at other teams with pace in wide areas, they're getting you on the half turn and sprinting towards that box. Dobbin did it, which is why Everton went up a level when he come on in terms of looking lively, because he was committing people. Our best forward players have been players who commit people in the final third.
So does that just mean the manager needs to make a decision of where we play, Alex? Because if
options though, John, isn't it? We haven't had a right winger for years. Me and Andy, sorry, you carry on now, but me and the Piv done a video about 4 years ago about right wingers for Everton. Malcolm, who's ironically just gone to Saudi for about £3 billion. We had about 6 of them going, these are because Marcel Brands had said we need a right winger. And we went through it all.
AGM,
Well, he done it the AGM, and we went through it all. Everton have never signed a player who plays on the right. Alex Iwobi before we got him was off the left.
Yeah.
Dwight McNeil is off the left. Demarai Gray is off the left.
Yeah.
Nonto off the left. Who they're after. Sulemana likes to play off the left. Can play off the right as well. Some of these players can play in the right, but predominantly they like playing off that left and
Because if we get halfway through the season, right, and the manager's done his job, and Alex is playing in a position that plays to his strengths, which is one of those is don't put him into situations where you just described scenarios where he slows the play down. That's because he's doing that job when somebody with more natural pace should be doing it and those sorts of things. But if he played in a more central role, find a way, and he scored 10 goals next season, it'd be a revelation.
Of course he would.
Because the work ethic's there, you know, the
creativity's there.
The stats there, the creativity's there.
Now you've added goals.
And you've added goals. Then you're thinking, that's a £50 million player in this league.
But he'll be out of contract.
And then but it would make it easier to decide whether to extend it or not.
I think he's the one that's pulled back from that. But there you go. Listen, the thing with Alex Iwobi is it's up to him to force his way into a position he wants to play. Yeah. If he plays on the right, he's got to commit defenders more and he's got to get his delivery into the penalty area more for me. But add goals, it's simply, there's that. Gary Ward's birthday today. Happy birthday, Gary. Hope you have a cracker, mate. Yeah, absolutely. 21 again, yeah. Steve P says it makes sense signing a player who can play centre-back and defensive midfield like Batista Mendy from Angers. Yeah, he's €5 million stay apparently. I was banging on about him for 8 weeks and he's still with Angers. €5 million again. That's amazing, no-brainer. Because he can't play.
When you talk about the guys who do fundamentally insights for, elite clubs in elite leagues, if you count the Championship upwards as being elite in this country, right?
Yeah.
And someone like Alex Iwobi and a team like Everton, who's coming into his last year, whose stats look so good, surely he wants to go out on a free, doesn't he?
Well, he probably does, yeah, now. Because it's got so far.
So in our plan the dive the plan, should have spent the last 3 or 4 months saying we're selling him. Surely? Otherwise he walks out the door this time, earlier than this time next year for nothing. And a replacement just to satisfy the stats without the goals will cost you 25+ million quid.
It's difficult, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, it is difficult. But there's like Daichi Kamada's still free, and I don't know whether he'd even consider Everton. I know he was considering us when Lampard was here. It's a different thing.
Why wouldn't you?
But the name, innit? The name. But, Lazio, I know he's talking to Lazio and a couple of others, but what?
Did he want to meet Christine?
Wanted to be on, try and get on the one show. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, there you go. It's an interesting debate. It's an interesting debate. And it will, and obviously there'll be more.
That's not all anti-Alex though, is it?
No, I've said Iwobi is a good player, and he's our most creative player. He needs to add goals. It's just a fact. That's just a fact. Everyone knows I don't, you see. Whereas you constantly dislike him and put terrible stuff out about him. I think if Everton bought a right wing, if we bought a right winger now to play on the right, and I said to you, his average is 1 goal a season, I think people would be like, what, in the final third? If you look around the Premier League and you look at teams like Liverpool, and because you've got to look at the teams near the top, Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, their wide players get double figures every single season and more. I'm not saying we should be going, we need a double fit, but why should we expect 1 goal from our winger or 2 goals?
Well, McNeil set the benchmark, hasn't he?
Well, that's it. McNeil's got 7 and proved it. So there you go, McNeil, the benchmark setter.
Without pens. Yeah.
Terrifying.
There you go. Anyway, there you go. Dan Humer, of course, who has got a decent record of scoring goals, could quite easily go out.
The left-sided player then?
Well, he does like to play off the left, which again, there you go. Right, listen, thank you very much. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you don't. Stay here, because we're going to be discussing everything else that's happening in the world.
What was the vote, Ned?
Of football. The vote was, should we sell Gray? 78% said they should sell Demarai Gray.
There you go. It's
so there you go. The people have spoken.
The people have spoken.
Stay here.
Not always a good thing.
But, no. Well, We'll be back at 2 to discuss everything else that's happening in the world of football. all the other transfer stuff. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? See you in 5 minutes, get a drink, stay, and I want to see most of you over there. Not some of you. Get over there, take it easy, be good. See you later.